So there might be some times that you want to create a variable chamfer inside of Fusion, but that command doesn't exist. So how can we create something like this inside of Fusion? Well, let me show you a really cool trick. So let's take a look at how you can go about creating a variable chamfer like you see on this simple block, and then we'll go through and create more complex examples. So unfortunately, Fusion doesn't have a variable chamfer command. So the tip I'm going to show you is to actually use a variable fillet command, and then we'll use that to create our variable chamfer. So I want to create a variable chamfer along this edge. So I'm going to come in here and go into the fillet command. And by default, it's usually set to constant right here. And if I were to click an edge, you'll notice it creates a constant fillet. But if I come in here and change this to variable, it then gets me a start and an end option. So for example, let's just say the start is 0.125 and the end, let's make that 0.375 or something like that. And so you can see how it's going from 0.125 to 0.375 for the fillet. Okay, so we now have our variable fillet. What I'm going to do now is jump into the surfacing tab and select our variable fillet and hit the delete key on my keyboard. So we've just deleted that round fillet, and you'll notice we're left with two sharp edges. And then we also have these little rounded areas, which we'll deal with here in just a moment. So we just deleted this face, and you'll notice that my body changed from a solid body, and then when I delete that fillet in the surfacing tab, it changes into a surfaced body. Now I basically want to close this area. And you might think, oh, I can just use the patch command, but you don't want to use the patch command because it's going to look for a closed patch, a closed region. We're going to use the loft command. So I'm going to say loft. And what's the profile? I'm going to select the top edge, and then I'm going to select this bottom edge. And you can see it's going to loft between the top edge and the bottom edge. And you can see it kind of gives us a preview, and it's doing just a straight loft between those two faces, or those two edges, I should say. And I'm just going to go ahead and say OK. And it created basically just an individual face right there. Now, I want to get rid of these little curved regions here, so I'm going to click on the trim command. What's the trim tool? I'll select this face, and then it says select the surfaces to remove. I'm just going to kind of zoom up so you can see this. I'm just going to hover over that curved face, and I select it, and you can kind of see it turns red. And then I'll do the same thing over here. I'll select on this curved face, and you can see that it turns red. And I'll just say OK, and we used that flat face to trim those two curved regions away. Now we're still left with a surface, basically two surface bodies. So the last thing we need to do is stitch these together. So under the surface tab, I'm going to use this stitch command, and I just like to draw a box around the whole thing. So I'm going to select everything like so, and you can see that it's selected the two stitched surfaces, and we can see this green highlighted area, and that's basically saying, green is good, green is okay. It found those two surfaces, it can stitch them together. I'll go ahead and say okay, and we can see that it now turned those stitched surfaces back into a solid body. And so that is how you can go about creating a variable chamfer. Now, there is another way to do this. I'll go ahead and show that method. I'm going to undo back quite a few steps to kind of get back to that sharp edge. I don't like this method as much because I don't feel like you have as much control, but it doesn't require the surfacing. So I'm going to go ahead and create a plane along a path. I'll select this edge. I'm going to drag my plane all the way to the beginning of this path. And let's go ahead and create a sketch on that path. And the reason I'm doing the plane along the path, you might say, well, couldn't you have just put a sketch on that face? Yes, I could have. But let's imagine this was a more complex path, like a guitar body or something like that. You would want to do a plane along a path, put your sketch at the beginning of that path, and now I'm going to basically draw the chamfer. So I'm going to project this geometry. I'll draw just a little angled line like so, and I'll dimension this little line segment. Let's just make that 0.25 in this case. And I'll do the same thing here. Reference that dimension so they're the same. And I'll finish my sketch. Okay, so I now have a profile, and I'm going to use the sweep command. So I'm going to say sweep. I'm going to do a single path sweep. What's my profile? This is my profile. What's my path? I'll select that as my path. And you can see it's going to sweep that profile along that path. But I have this taper angle option. And so if I came in here and said, let's make that like 5 degrees, you can kind of see how it's going to sweep it along that path and also taper it 5 degrees as it goes along, which obviously is a little bit too large. So let's make it something like 2 degrees in this case. But now you'll notice I don't really have the ability to say, you know, how wide is that at the end? And you can see this is why I don't like this method as much. Whereas with the variable fillet, I can say I want the fillet to be, you know, 1/4 inch at this end and 1/2 inch at that end, for example. So there's pros and cons with both. You know, using the variable fillet, I have to go into surfacing and delete faces and trim faces and stuff like that. Whereas this method, I don't, but then I don't have as much control over the size of my my chamfer at the end, for example. If all you care about is just, you know, going from, you know, small to large, and you can just type in a taper angle, you get, you know, kind of a similar result. So those are the two different methods. So then now let's do a little bit more complicated example. So, you know, something that kind of goes around a curve like this. So I'm going to go ahead and step back quite a bit. So here's our starting point. So I have a block that has a fillet on the end. And I'm going to do the exact same thing where I'm going to create a variable fillet. So I'll come in here and say fillet. We're in variable fillet. I'll go ahead and select this edge. And let's just go ahead and, you know, work on the end. First of all, let's make that maybe 0.75 in this case. And let's start with maybe something like 0.125 for the start. So this is our overall size. Let's maybe make it 0.25. Yeah, let's do something like this. And let's make that 1 inch for the end. There we go. Okay. So we're going, you know, from small to large. I'll jump into my surface tab. I'll do the same thing. I'll go ahead and select these surfaces and hit delete. And we end up with something that looks like this. And I'll go ahead and create a loft. Now I want to show you a couple tips with this. I'm going to go ahead and by default, it kind of looks like this. I'll select these 3 edges. And then I'll add in another profile, and I'll select these edges. And you'll notice when I start to select the bottom edge, I get this weird wrinkled look kind of a thing, because it's trying to take all 3 of these edges and loft it to 1. But as I continue clicking, you'll notice it's looking better. But then I get something that looks like this. Once I've clicked those 3 edges, I get something that looks like this. And to me, this surface right here, this curved surface, doesn't look all that great. Now there's an option in here called tangent edges, and it says merge or keep. And if I turn on keep, you'll notice how with merge, it basically, you can kind of see how it just brought the line almost back from this edge and then connected it here. Whereas if we said keep, you can kind of see how it's connecting that line down to that line. This little arc segment here is getting connected to this larger arc segment here, and we're getting a much nicer representation of our loft. So make sure you play around with these tangent edges. I like the keep option, and it gives you a much nicer result. So I'm going to go ahead and say okay. Let's do the trim really quick. I'll do the exact same thing. I'll select that edge. We'll click on these two little tabs, say okay. Stitch these together. Everything's green, which is good. I'll say okay. And we're back to an original solid body. And we have this tapered chamfer. So in this last example, I used the variable fillet command to create this variable chamfer along this guitar body. So let me show you how I went about doing that. So started with a basic profile with a spline, and then I did the variable fillet along the edge. And then I'll just kind of step through the rest of these. I selected the faces and deleted those in the surface tab. Then created the loft. Again, making sure that the keep option is turned on. I'll select my top edge profiles. I'll add another profile set. And as I'm doing that, you can kind of see how it's building these profiles. And once again, by having that keep option, you get the really nice looking loft created. Then I just have to trim these little segments like so. Say okay. Stitch these guys together. And now we're back to a solid body. And then if you wanted to, I'm just going to come in here and say mirror. And let's just mirror those together like so. And then I'll mirror that to the other side like so. And we end up with a body that looks like this. And if I wanted to, I could even turn on the sketch and make changes to the underlying sketch, and it'll actually update the shape of the guitar live as I'm changing this. So that is how you can use the variable fillet command to create variable chamfers in your design. I hope you found that video useful. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe and share it with others. And as always, have fun learning Fusion. And see you next time.